Rick Barber got into radio early. While still in high school, he was a DJ in Rhode Island.
I made a pest of myself. I hung around radio stations when I was a kid. My voice had dropped by the time I was 14.
And after high school, his radio career was put on hold.
I was going to a school that my father chose for me, which was Brigham Young, which, as you can imagine, was certainly not where I wanted to be. But I was in a band, I had long hair, and drank a lot of Coors.
So
we did.
Right there, that's a square peg round hole for BYU.
Yeah. So I was invited to withdraw or be expelled, and I just withdrew and joined the Army. Bob Martin, who was head of sports at KOA back in those days, sent me a letter, and I hadn't even gotten out yet. My last duty station was at Fort Bragg, and he said, "We're looking for a guy at KOA. Come visit me when you get out." So I came out to Denver, but the slot had been filled, so KLOV was looking for a news director. And they picked me up right away, and so I was going back and forth from Denver all the way to Loveland, then back down, until I just couldn't do it anymore. And I got a job at Channel 2.
I went to KBTR and did overnight news, and then we went to KEDN,
Right.
up there in Movie Hill, and was doing an afternoon news show. And then after that, took a hiatus, wanted to get lost for a while, so went to Wyoming. I was a TV weatherman.
He returned to Denver and was evening talk host on KWBZ, working with Alan Berg, Peter Boyles, and others. From 1977 to 1981, he was in Albuquerque.
I have done every job, yeah. A PD, program director, music director, news director, production director. When I was in Albuquerque, I was a booth announcer. So I got the headphone on, and he says, "Stand by to announce." It's like a Walgreens tag. Now available at Walgreens. I mean, I worked on my degree sitting in a booth.
He was back in Denver in 1982 when KOA was looking for a newsman to work with the legendary Joey Reynolds on the radio TV simulcast All Night Live.
I was the news guy. I played the straight man. You know, I was the straight guy with the tie, and Joey was the guy that got the pajamas and got into the folding couch.
The simulcast ended in 1984, but Rick stayed on the radio overnights solo for nearly 30 years. He interviewed presidents, celebrities, lots of authors, and brought his listeners in to the conversation.
He was just immensely knowledgeable on a number of subjects, so he could talk at length on a variety of subjects.
Doc, it's been fascinating, to be sure.
Well, thanks, Rick. I appreciate your openness to these unorthodox ideas.
Oh, I only do interviews, Doc. If I have an opinion, I keep it to myself, at least during the interviews anyway.
He wanted to have an intellectual conversation with people. He didn't want to get into a fight, and I think that the overnight suited his personality very well.
6 minutes after 3 o'clock. I want to thank Jeff Bennett, fascinating guy, lives up in Boulder.
In January 2012, corporate programming changes brought an end to his show. In February 2013, Rick learned he had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. He died June 28, 2013, at 67.
When I told him that we were working on the induction and at least getting him nominated, he was so flattered to be even thought of, and to be inducted or even nominated was a huge thrill for him, and it brought a tremendous smile to his face, I can tell you that.
For a generation of listeners, he was overnight radio.
I think I put more little old ladies to bed than my husbands ever did. Oh, it was such a wonderful gig. I really loved it. I've always said I never felt more relaxed than when I was working on the air.
For his outstanding contributions to radio broadcasting, the broadcast professionals of Colorado are proud to welcome Rick Barber as a 2013 inductee to the BPC Hall of Fame.